firefighting in Canada this week is brought to you by VFIS of Canada, a division of CVIS Incorporated, Canada's largest insurer of firefighters. In this edition, several Canadian fire chiefs are in new roles. And Nova Scotia is enhancing mental health support for volunteer firefighters and ground search and rescue personnel. Then, the Ontario Disaster and Emergency Management Conference brought interesting response issues to light in Toronto. Several fire chiefs are in new roles across Canada. The City of Pitt Meadows in British Columbia has appointed Chris Miley as its new Deputy Fire Chief of Training and Operations. In Ontario, Martin Heine is Thunder Bay Fire Rescue's new Deputy Fire Chief. Derek Snyder was promoted to Fire Chief in Centre Hastings after more than 30 years of service to the department. He is taking over from Fire Chief Bob Branscombe, who is retiring in December. Dave Pelayo is the new Fire Chief of Caledon Fire and Emergency Services. He is taking over from outgoing Fire Chief Dave Forfar, who is also retiring. The City of Oshawa has promoted Mike Barlow to Deputy Fire Chief. Michael Seth has returned to Six Nations of the Grand River to be the community's Deputy Fire Chief. Sarnia has appointed Jeff Weber as its new Fire Chief, and Rob Martin has been appointed as Cambridge's new Fire Chief. Nova Scotia's volunteer firefighters and ground search and rescue teams are being offered access to more mental health support. They will have access to personal and family counseling, stress management, nutrition support, and more through the Nova Scotia Firefighter and Ground Search and Rescue Volunteer Assistance Program. Counseling will be offered 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, through a designated phone number starting in December. Nova Scotia is investing $75,000 into the program, which is part of a 2-year pilot project with TELUS Health. The Ontario Disaster and Emergency Management Conference took place in Toronto on October 24th and 25th. The agenda featured more than 30 sessions that focused on new initiatives, lessons learned, and best practices on disaster response and recovery, community resilience, and climate change. One session looked at how an unsuspecting event like a total solar eclipse can turn into an emergency. Another discussed how British Columbia is revamping its emergency alert system for oil spills in First Nations communities. Wildfires and climate change were also on the agenda. The conference wrapped up with a presentation about the Earth's extremes. Thanks again to VFIS of Canada, a division of CVIS Incorporated, Canada's largest insurer of firefighters. Stay tuned for our next episode on Friday, December 8th.